Hello there, and welcome to my channel. This is Ashley Marshall with a reading for all 12 signs of the zodiac. And this theme will be the shift of the North Node and South Node from Gemini and Sagittarius into Taurus and Scorpio. So an interesting thing I heard the other day about this shift is how we've spent the past 18 months with the North Node in Gemini as a collective, right? And now that it shifts into Taurus, we might be a lot more earth focused, right? Gemini is a very mental sign, moves very quick, gathers information, researches, learns, teaches, shares a message. And Taurus is a lot more slow moving, right? It's about embodying everything that we learned over the past 18 months, integrating, which I think so many of us could use after spending the past couple of years in pandemic energy. So we might be seeing a lot more time at home, a lot more cooking, making our own food, hands in the earth, spending time in nature, gardening. We may also see a lot more focus around finances, personal value, material possessions, because those are second house things which Taurus rules over. So North Node is about embracing, and South Node is often about releasing, wrapping up. So wherever the North Node is for you, and I will be telling you that by rising sign, it might be the area of life that you see a little bit more lit up, and South Node is where you're being asked to release, to wrap up, to finish things, okay? So, as I said, we're going to go through each of the 12 signs. I will let you know what house these are moving into for you by rising sign. You can also watch for sun and moon, just for some extra information. So starting with Aries rising, the North Node will be moving into the second house and the South Node in the 8th house. So an emphasis here on material possessions, values, money, work, habits, basically work habits, your job. Some people say that second house even rules work ethic. So seeing lots of shifts in that area of your life for you, Aries rising. And 8th house is about, it's famously known as sex, death, and taxes, merging, shared finances, shared resources, taxes, inheritances, partners' resources. It can also rule, shared business, things like that. So there may be some wrapping up, some finishing things there. Maybe you will be getting a tax return. Maybe you'll be receiving an inheritance. Maybe, and this is what I'm hearing strongly for many Aries rising, is there'll be a shift in shared resources and how you go about that over the next 18 months. So maybe someone who's been dependent on you will no longer be, or maybe if you've been dependent on somebody else financially, you will no longer be. So let's see what tarot card Aries rising received. 10 of water, which is 10 of cups. Water and cups rules over romantic relationships, feelings, emotions. So a contented and rewarding family life, your emotional and material needs are met, trustworthy relationships. So what I see here for Aries risings immediately is that there has been, maybe it was the past 18 months with the node in Gemini and Sagittarius, or maybe it's been longer, but there seems to be a past of worry and concern over financial stability. Worry over whether or not you are going to be able to support yourself or you are going to be supported. And I see that really shifting over this next 18 months and coming to an end. So possibly a shift in how you manage money, how you make money, where you're making money. So maybe some possible new sources and streams of income. And I see that this has been affecting your emotions, right? Maybe you've been feeling like really shameful, really worthless, okay? Because you haven't been getting the monetary exchange that you deserve, you feel, for your work. And so, yeah, I'm really seeing that this is affecting how you carry yourself, how you've been feeling about yourself, and also your personal relationships and your familial relationships. So going back to that idea of 8th house, shared resources and income, maybe things have been funky within your household because someone has been pulling more of the financial weight, or maybe you have been pulling more of the financial weight and it's been draining you. And there'll be some sort of shift, and that can manifest really differently for everybody. Like maybe you have an adult child that will be moving out of the house, no longer that you will be needing to support. Maybe they'll be getting off your insurance because they've turned a certain age, something like that. Maybe there's a breakup or a divorce where a partner that you have been supporting for a while leaves your life. Something like that. It won't be the same for everybody, and it can be on so many different levels. Maybe you'll be ending a business partnership that's been draining. But I really do see in the next 18 months with this trustworthy relationships that if you have been looking to bring someone in as a partner for a business, or you've been looking for finances for that business, that you will be having some trustworthy people come in as an option to financially support that business, to get into partnership with, to share these resources with. This also rules like joint ventures, joint property. So maybe you want to flip houses, but you need somebody who has the money to do that. I see those potential partnerships popping up over the next 18 months. So staying open to receiving those, and getting excited about what the year ahead holds, about what the next 18 months holds in as the nodes have shifted into Taurus and Scorpio. And again, I see that like there's going to be a shift in your home life, in your family life because of this. So I am hearing for a lot of Aries that it is, this shared income, shared resources might have gotten a little icky, right? As it tends to when we are completely reliant on somebody, or when someone is completely reliant on us. So huge shift for those. Whatever worry and concern that you've had about not being able to support yourself, I see that really shifting and being naturally released. You might be doing some like affirmation or work to release that. This can also be an indication of marriage and partnership. So I see that maybe some of you will be making wills, making prenuptial agreements, which is like 8th house things, right? And there's like this really, with the 10 of water, there's really this idea of security. And I'm really hearing that Aries risings, that's been a big point of struggle in the past. And there's this exhale that comes with this nodal shift for you, because you're going to finally be able to support yourself, or you're going to finally be able to stop supporting somebody else, which is all good news, right? So let's see what your goddess oracle card is. Mother Mary, expect a miracle. Have faith that your prayers have been answered, have been heard, and are being answered. So, wow. I feel like this is very huge because, again, going back to the 10 of water with this fear of material needs not being met, I feel like many Aries have been struggling, whether that's past 18 months or longer, struggling financially, or struggling with having to carry the financial weight for the family, or for a business partner, or in a business, right? Within a joint venture. So I think many of you have been putting a lot of prayers up. You've been really focused on being able to support yourself. It's not like coming from a selfish place. I'm hearing a lot of like, I just want to be able to feed myself. I just want to be able to take care of my kids. And of course, much more than that is available to you, but I'm hearing that's, you want to start there, right? We want to be able to start there so we can open ourselves up to more abundance your ancestors, your spirit guides, your angels, like all of these people are supporting you. They've all heard you. I really do see like a miracle coming through over the next 18 months, as far as finances and the ability to support yourself goes. Okay. Let's see if anything else is coming through. Yeah, I just think that all the figures here is like a reminder of how supported you are in the spiritual realm, and you have been heard. Your prayers have been heard. Your manifestations, they're not just going nowhere into the sky, right? I see a lot of money blocks being cleared, okay, for Aries risings too. So let's move on to a self-care card for the next 18 months. Energy work. So I hear this being a really big part of that miracle and clearing the way for that miracle. You know, sometimes we think we've worked something out, we've cleared something, but really energy work can be something that can be done every day. I even did like a simple practice just before I started this reading so that I could bring clear messages and none of my own gunk was in the way, right? And this can be simple. It can be like taking a salt bath or a salt shower, or it can just be cutting your cords after every interaction. Again, we don't cut cords because we dislike people. I mean, maybe you will cut your cords more when you're around people that trigger you more or whatever, but it's about not picking up any of their energetic gunk, right? So that we can be clean and clear and focused and just, focused on our own stuff. So just balancing yourself out, getting chakra work, energy cleansing from a practitioner, maybe on the regular, or, just trying it once, whatever you feel called to, or again, cleaning up your energy on a regular basis so that you can have a remembrance, right? So that you can remember the miracle is on its way to you, so that you can remember and clear yourself and open yourself up to this contented and rewarding family life. Because what I'm hearing for Aries rising is there may be like a little bit of block still to that. So keeping yourself, like financial block, like around deserving abundance. So keeping yourself open and clear is really a big part of this too. Because we could be doing everything quote unquote right, putting ourselves out there for financial opportunities, but if we're still working with this deep belief within that we are undeserving, then that can be an issue. So it may be like the last lingering thing, energy to, right? That might be the thing. If you're doing all the things and you're still feeling like things aren't coming through, try clearing your energy, right? I also want to get back to this for a minute because that reminded me of something. I feel like if you've been having that, there has been tension within the household, and this is that one thing, right? This person being able to support themselves financially, maybe that one thing that clears the issues in the home, and it brings a lot more joy, right? Because I hear and feel like you or whoever is being supported is really just going to feel so much better about themselves, and not the other person won't feel resentful when you're able to financially support yourself, right? And this isn't like a one-time thing, or it could be a one-time thing, but it's more like something we want to try to do on the regular, right? We tune our cars up, we wash our dishes. We don't eat off the same dish every day because it gets food on it. There would be dry, crusty food on the plate, and it would just add up. And so it's like the same thing goes for your energy. and in whatever way you feel called to do this work. Again, it doesn't have to be working with a practitioner, cutting your cords. There are plenty of like cord cutting meditations out there, just to other people, other people's energy, right? Environments. It doesn't even have to be cutting your cords to a person. It can be cutting your cord to an environment, to a situation, to a past trauma, to a current trauma. So really trying to bring this into your life in some way as you move and shift into this new contented and rewarding family life, where you can support yourself, where you're in trustworthy relationships, allowing yourself to accept the good that's coming over the next 18 months. And anytime you feel anxious or off, or like you're having negative thoughts and you feel like you're blocking that abundance, clearing that energy, right? Simple, practical energy tools. And if you feel like you don't know what those are, comment below and I will share some with you. Okay, so that was Aries. Moving on to Taurus. Taurus, this is a big shift for you as the node is shifting into your sign. So Taurus and Scorpios might be more impacted by this shift. And when you have a nodal return like this, it's just much more powerful and impactful. The nodes are shifting into the 1st and 7th house. So North Node, 1st house, South Node, 7th house for Taurus. 1st house is all about self, appearances, the body, your identity and approach to life. So pretty huge, right? So you may see shifts in that area of your life, and you may be releasing some 7th house things. So releasing long-term relationships. Maybe it's not a divorce or a breakup. It could be. It could also just be how you show up in that relationship, or how you deal with each other, communicate with each other, talk with each other. This also could relate to business partnerships, okay? So let's see what Taurus got for a tarot card. 9 of Earth, loyal, dedicated, honorable, kind. Time to buckle down and get things done. Honor your commitments, a guardian angel. So what I'm seeing for this for Taurus, Earth is Pentacles, so typically that has to do with finances, which we are going to be heavily focused on, all of us, for the next 18 months. Material possessions, in career. So because this is going to be such a big, powerful year for Taurus, I think it's going to be a huge shift in your identity, right? In how you go about doing things and doing life. I feel like for Taurus risings, there might be some tendency to move a little slower through things. But this might be a little bit of a faster year for you. And you're really being asked to honor those passions, honor those dreams, honor your commitments. I would say check in with those commitments, and are they full body yeses for you? And if not, maybe slowly seeing how you can release that and allow for some commitments that seem more aligned. Okay, I see lots of Taurus risings being protected by guardian angels, spirit angels, ancestors, maybe even using this next 18 months to tap into communicating with them and their energy as things move forward, as things really get going for you and pick up in the way of career and, again, personal identity. Yeah, I see like there's, even though Taurus can be a little bit of a slower moving sign, I think because of this nodal shift, it really might bring a lot of work, clientele, if that's like the kind of work that you do, and increased abundance, right? Increased material possessions, increased finances, and really being asked to, again, review. We are in Mercury retrograde right now, I think until February 3rd. So taking this time to review the, 7th house things, relationships, contracts, marriages, commitments that you have, as you move forward and open yourself up to this abundance, right? Balancing self in this change of identity with personal relationships, and maybe leaning more to the first house, right? Leaning more into what is good for you, what's important for you. Let's see what the goddess card is here. Arakura, blossoming. You are just getting started, so have patience with yourself and the process. Do not give up. I love this. So yeah, this is a really beautiful sign and a beautiful card, and it's a reminder, that we have 18 months, right, to do this, to work with this Taurus Scorpio energy. And I really think it's like goes back to that whole buckling down, getting things done, and honoring your commitment, right? If you need reminders of why you started this to begin with, give that to yourself. Review, have moments of remembrance, and allow yourself to have days where you're not just feeling it. Hopefully there are days where you are productive, and that's fine, but not getting too down on yourself when you're not. Okay. I see this really as like fresh start, new identity, new way of going about things, and not getting bogged down by the details of it all. Because yes, when we have big dreams and we have big goals, they can be fun and exciting, but there are parts of it that aren't fun and exciting. And so over the next 18 months, you may be feeling, like you want to give up, okay? Like you don't want to honor those commitments, like you don't want to keep going. Access a guardian angel, a spirit guide, an ancestral guide to help motivate you and keep you going. I help clients do that in my one-on-one ancestral guide work. So that's an option to do that. Or to find a visualization or meditation online on YouTube that helps you connect with them, and use them as a resource to not push through, but to have the courage to move with the tides, right? To continue this transformation. I do see, like, for the next year for Taurus, it's going to be a huge transformation of who you are, right? Your identity and how you do life. So remember, you're just starting this shift. It's not going to happen overnight. I don't like to, never say never. Maybe it will happen overnight for you, but it'll likely, encompass more time than just one night. And we're always inventing, we're always renewing ourselves, and having patience with that process. Self-care card for Taurus. Aromatherapy. Okay, so really tapping into the scents and smells, maybe taking a walk in nature, gathering things to burn. Working with essential oils can be really beneficial for you. Smell can be very motivating. right? I just got a card reading from a really incredible reader who said that lavender would be very beneficial for me and give me confidence. So yeah, picking a, what I'm hearing is, yeah, working with essential oils, playing around with them, finding a scent that really energizes you is what I'm hearing and gets you going. Like peppermint can really do that. Something that motivates you to continue on this path, right? To keep going, to not give up. This transformative, this hugely transformative time. What I'm hearing is, yeah, it's likely you'll need a lot of support over the past year, a lot of validation to keep going, to support this shift in who you are and who you're going to become. I'm hearing that some of you Taurus risings, if you're into human design, checking your human design, because I think there's like a scent gate or something that makes some people a lot more, I know I have it, tuned into their scent. Like I could smell when my dog had an ear infection, and my partner was like, what do you mean? I don't smell anything. And we took him in, and sure enough, he had an ear infection. So I think a lot of people in this group, a lot of Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Risings are very attached to scent. So trying to adjust and shift your environment over the next 18 months, maybe getting rid of toxic chemicals and bringing in really good scents. And what I'm hearing is that scent and aromatherapy could really work to inspire you. So when you need to get something done and you're feeling like you're just sluggish and you can't, and you just want to go watch TV and eat something, grabbing some of that peppermint, okay? Making your workspace smell inspiring and motivating to get you going over the next 18 months. So yeah, Taurus, I see this being a really big, huge, positive shift and change for you. Keeping yourself grounded and your nervous system regulated, which you can do through aromatherapy, may be very important for you. All right? Gemini, this nodal shift will be in the 12th and 6th house. So North Node moving into the 12th house of endings, healing, closure, solitude. It also rules the womb space, our time in the womb, and sometimes people believe that it also rules past lives. It also can rule like our limitations. Sometimes people call this the house of self-undoing because it's where we can self-undo, right? Where when we spend too much time ruminating, it can be not that great for us, right? And then the South Node is moving into the 6th house for you. So health, fitness, pets, work habits. Let's see what your tarot card is. Gemini's Sun, Moon, and Rising. 9 of Fire, so 9 of Wands. Action, passions. Don't give up. Protect that which you've created. Have courage and believe in yourself. So when we're dealing with the 12th house, we can be dealing with a lot of inner work, right? It rules solitude and isolation. So you may be spending a lot of time on inner work the next 18 months on subconscious beliefs, right? The 12th house also rules the subconscious. And so, really working with your nervous system to stay regulated over the next 18 months, making sure that you're not too stuck in 12th house things, right? Because again, we can get lost here. We can get down on ourselves. And so I think this card comes as a reminder that you're not stuck here. You're not stuck into this space, right? And Protect that which you've created within. Protecting your morals, your standards, your values. But also protecting like your spirituality, what you think and believe about yourself. Like this inner work that you have done, protect it. Protect your energy field. Protect your, what do I want to say? This person that you have become within. And not giving that up for anything, really, for new people, or because that's just what we have to do, we have to grind, right? Not losing this sense of solitude and care and healing for ourselves. We tend to, when we go back out into the world, like sixth house things, well, not sixth house things, but when we're too heavily focused on like the grind, right? It's easy to lose all the work that we have done. It's easy to dip back into that grind life. And so what I'm hearing here over the next 18 months for Gemini, risings in particular, but sun and moon as well, is that, you know, maybe it's been the past 18 months when the nodes were in Gemini and Sagittarius, but whatever you built, right, whatever you worked on in private, you're being asked to protect, to sustain, okay? There's some like energy of like obsessive rumination in the 12th house too, and really working to get out of that space, working to make sure, you know, whether that's working with like a therapist, just keeping other people in your world, keeping that energy of communication and sharing of how you're doing going, so that you can have a support system as you move through, you know, this 12th house subconscious area. Staying supported, and keeping things light where you can. You may be shifting out of a time of spent working on your health or your fitness, or you may see some health issue finally kind of come to a close. You may, you know, maybe you are healing from a surgery. Maybe you are got a diagnosis and now you feel like you're in the place where you are, you know, you have healed that. Okay, so endings in the 6th house. Or maybe you are leaving some daily work behind, right? That you were doing. And so trusting that these endings are positive. It's interesting because, you know, South Node is ending, but your North Node is in the house of ending. So you might be seeing a lot of closure, a lot of wrapping up, a lot of shedding unconscious beliefs too, which is a really positive thing. And really leaning into your strength and courage in order to do these things, because they're not easy, right? They will require a lot of our emotional strength. Your goddess card that you received is Abundantia, prosperity. The universe is pouring its abundance out to you. Be open to receiving it. So I see this as a really lovely card for you, Gemini, sun, moon, and rising. I see it as, you know, of course, Taurus is about finances, and it is about our abundance too. I heard someone say about this nodal shift that it's going to put the focus on abundance for a lot of us, because Taurus rules over the 2nd house, and the 2nd house is our money, our income, our values, our material habits. Okay, so really putting a focus on the idea that you are deserving of it, being open to receiving it. And, you know, in order to be open to receiving it, we're going really back to that idea of having courage, having faith, and believing in yourself is part of being open to that abundance. And if you're at a point where you don't feel like you are abundant, that you're open to receiving, working with an affirmation that is a little bit easier and more doable, like, I may be open to receiving abundance in the near future, right? Because we don't want to lie to ourselves, okay? But I do really see new financial opportunities coming to you, Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising. But the North Node is in Taurus, so I'm focused on that. I see financial opportunities coming in, work opportunities, and it's really going to be for you over the next 18 months about working with those limiting beliefs and fears that reside in the 12th house, right? So again, anytime that idea of lack, that lack mentality comes in, an affirmation I like is, this all belongs to me. Like when we get jealous of people, we see people having things that we want or feel we should have, repeating to ourselves, this belongs to me as well. This is available to me as well. Okay, so maybe possibly working with some affirmations. And the self-care card for you is dance. Love this, beautiful Gemini. So, you know, you're a Mercury-ruled sign. You like to move it. I'm really seeing dance as a huge part of your integration this year, right? Dancing with the flow of life. Dancing as maybe some work, you know, dancing in the sense that you're integrating everything that's happening. The things that are leaving your life and being released, right? Which is possible some releasing health issues, releasing some like daily work that maybe you weren't really excited about and you were just doing for money, right? But really, I see it as like an antithesis to this 12th house stuff, because 12th house is about like isolation. It's about also the places that we go, like spas and retreats, you know, ones that are more inner focused, subconscious focused, meditative focus. And while you will be doing that over the next 18 months and really living up here in your head, it's really important to come back to the body, right? Because when we live too much in the 12th house, we can be quite dissociative. So remembering to take time to move your body, to dance with the rhythms and the flow of life, okay? Maybe it's slow dancing, maybe it's fast dancing, maybe you will join a dance community, maybe you're already in a dance community. But really I'm hearing this importance of moving things through the body. So when, you know, and dance is great just anytime, but dance in response to and as a nervous system grounding resource, right? When you're dealing with these 12th house things, when you're feeling like you want to give up, when you're feeling like what you're doing doesn't have any purpose or you're not the best person to do it, okay? Yeah. Dancing with the flow of life, dancing with the changes that may occur, dancing in gratitude for all the abundance that is on its way to you over the next 18 months. I love that for you, Taurus. Big year ahead. I'm excited to see what occurs. If anything resonates, I would love to hear from you in the comment section. that was Gemini. I kept saying Taurus. Gemini. Okay. Cancer. This North Node shift is occurring for you in the 11th and 5th house. So North Node in the 11th house of groups, friends, humanitarianism, technology, also dreams for the future, and then some releasing around 5th house things. So romance, love affairs, children, fertility, creativity. Typically, what I see for the next 18 months for Cancer, rising, sun, and moon as well, is this shift from individual creative efforts to group efforts. You may be stepping out into a new community, you may have new collaborations, you may be making new friends, you may be moving out of a space of inner child work. Yeah, so let's see what your tarot card says. Page of Fire. So fire is wands, passions, taking actions, creative pursuits, outgoing, creative, confident, mischievous. News of an exciting new endeavor. Use your originality and ingenuity. Okay, so I see this as a really positive, nice sign for you Cancer risings, sun and moon as well. I see, the opportunity that's coming maybe through social media, maybe technological, something that puts you out into the community on a grander, greater scale, right? This is Taurus North Node shift, so exciting advances in your salary, around finances. And it's really asking that you, even though you're moving from this 5th house of self, right? Creative endeavors, 5th house is ruled by Leo, and they're really partaking in these creative endeavors and kind of taking the stage on their own. Whereas since the North Node is moving into your 11th house, I see this opportunity being something like on a group scale, as a part of a group. But that doesn't mean that you can't bring your own self into it, right? Like, don't get lost into the group. Don't get lost in this group mentality. Even though you can definitely use more of it, Cancer, you tend to be like a homebody. And even though this next 18 months sees us mostly like at home, I think for Cancers, of course, Cancers are going to be the ones outside of the home when they're usually the ones inside of it, right? Doing the opposite as everybody else. I see you being more public, right? But just because you're more public and just because you're going to be a part of a group more, it doesn't mean that you can't bring your own originality to the situation. You have something so individual to offer, and honor that, hone that in, believe in yourself, believe that you are just as strong in a group as you are as an individual, as you are in your cozy little home, right? I see this being a financial opportunity, also creative project opportunity that you may be working on with others. And yeah, there's really this like message coming through of not to lose yourself in the group. It's likely like you need more group adventure, more group activities to get back out into community. Maybe it's something you've really been yearning for. But bringing your whole self and bringing your own ideas, right? Not being afraid to stand out in that group. Be a part of a group, but stand out in it. Your goddess oracle card is Mary Magdalene, unconditional love. Love yourself and others and every situation, no matter what the outward appearances may be. Okay, so as you step back out into the community and you're making new friendships, and I'm seeing a real shift of like values and who you surround yourself with. Like, you're really shifting into this whole, releasing of friendships and ties and people that really weren't your vibe. And not judging them as you let them go, not judging anybody as they're being released, right? And not judging people as you enter these new groups. There may be some people that you meet that you don't jive with, and sending love to them no matter what. Sending love to people and organizations and groups, or just sending good vibes and energy, right? To people, regardless if they're your people, your soul family or not. Because just because we're in search of our soul family and our community that we want to be a part of doesn't mean we have to poo-poo, people, groups that we're leaving, communities that we're leaving. Having gratitude for their time in your life and their place in your life, because they likely, are teaching you something, right? I really love San Francisco and love aspects of the community that I've created here, but I also struggle with it. And sometimes I can get caught into this idea of like, it's not exactly what I want, so it's awful. And when I get really low in those places, I really try to shift my thinking and be like, okay, but what is working about here? What is good? And when we can focus on that, we can send love and gratitude for that, we're bringing more of this 11th house. We're bringing more of this 11th house community, positive community energy, where we can bring some of the good aspects that we have about the now into the future. And as you leave what you're leaving behind, sending all of that love and positive energy, right? We don't want to leave anything negatively. We can be happy that we're moving into a new space and way of being, a new life, but we don't have to poo-poo the old one, right? So self-care for Cancer family, okay? Really, over the next year, leaning into the support of family. If you don't feel like you have a living family that is supportive, you can always work with ancestors who are always there to support you. Doing some ancestral work or repair, like I do one-on-one with my clients, is an option. But I'm also hearing, since we're dealing with 11th house North Node, like soul family, right? The self-care for you over the next 18 months might have a lot to do with really finding that soul family, getting, moving into a more community that's more aligned for you is what I'm hearing. So not just like blood family, but soul family. And a lot of your self-care is going to come from just getting immersed and getting involved in that community and stepping out into the community. I'm hearing you're gonna gain more family over the next 18 months just by putting yourself out in the community more. Family is on its way to you. Oh, I love that. That's what I hear. I feel like it's more that's coming to you than self-care, but it's also self-care. And you got 2 self-care cards actually. So the second one you got is deep breathing. So focusing on that breath, Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising over the next 18 months may be really important to you. You may be called to do breath work, simple or more advanced, depending on how you feel. Because what I'm hearing is like success can create anxiety for you. Okay, so stepping out into a group, right? Cancers tend to be more homebodies. So taking a step away when you are amongst a group to do some deep breathing, to do a breathing practice, can be really helpful for you as you make your way back out into the community. We have been in pandemic. Things have shifted, things have changed. The way that we socialize is totally different. So even though this is really beneficial for you and it's going to be a really positive year for you as far as like social interactions and finding that soul family, right, and getting back into a group and making friends, it can cause anxiety. It can be triggering. It can be a lot. So honing in on a breathing practice, or just setting a timer, 1 or 2 timers, however many you feel called to throughout the day, and when it goes off, putting a hand on your heart and saying, okay, how's my breath? Am I breathing? So many of us go through our days with such shallow breathing. So checking in on that, I'm really hearing that it's something that's going to be beneficial for you over the next 18 months. Yeah. A 5th house is also like drama. So I wanted to say that I think that Cancer risings are going to be like moving into a new space where they're releasing some drama that's been going on over the past year or maybe longer. Yeah, releasing drama and more focused on finding that soul family, that soul community. I think the exciting new endeavors and offers that come to you will be a part of that community, and from putting yourself out in community and tied up within the community. And I think it has some financial benefits to you, some financial growth. And that's what I see for you, Cancer. Sun, moon, and rising. Leos, the North Node is moving into the 10th house of career and public image, and the South Node is moving into the 4th house of family, parents, the home, roots, ancestry, right? So seeing your 10th house of career and public image light up, and maybe releasing some 4th house things. Maybe you'll be moving. Maybe you're wrapping up some mother wound work. Maybe you're wrapping up some work with a inherited trauma, or you've just gained some new family traditions, or you just found out a bunch about your ancestry. So for Leo, Sun, Moon, and in particular risings, you got 7 of Earth, 7 of Pentacles. So again, focus on Taurus things, material possessions, finances, career. Seeds well planted, a temporary pause in action, unnecessary worry. So if you feel like things haven't been moving forward with your career, this comes as a validation that the work that you have been putting in has been seen, right? You've planted the seeds well. And then, typically we forget this in life as humans. You plant the seeds, and then what? You think you're going to come out the next day and everything's going to be, you're going to be able to harvest? No, we have to have that pause. Leo, you're a fire sign, so it's likely you don't like this pause. You want to keep things moving and going. Don't get worried or bogged down by the time it takes for things to grow, right? You just planted all of these seeds. Give them time. Give things some time to progress, to grow, to turn into something. That's what I'm hearing for you. I think that there may be some anxiety over this pause, this period of growth. But I don't see it as one that follows you into the next 18 months. As long as you can, every once in a while, remind yourself of the time that it will take for things to shift and change. I think that Leo risings will see over the next 18 months, they're going to see themselves reaching a milestone that can be signified by this card. And that, you know, over time you will start to see the fruits of your labor. I think that you have put in a lot of work for your career, even some that you don't see. Maybe you don't see it as work and time spent well, right? Or maybe you did the work and then you're just moving so fast, moving forward, you're not realizing that that was all really beneficial. So what I'm hearing too is taking a pause, taking some time to celebrate this, to celebrate all the work that you have done thus far. But North Node being in your 10th house really does bring some huge shifts to career and public image. And I see that shift happening. And like I said, you might be reaching a big milestone in your career. Let's see what the Goddess card. Aphrodite, inner goddess, awaken the goddess within you through dance, self-care, and appreciating your divinity, right? Leos love to move their body. They're a fire sign, you know, through sports, you rule the 5th house, which is sports and recreation, right? So incorporating some dance over the next year, and, you know, Aphrodite rules over, is the goddess of Venus, and Venus rule is Taurus. So really honing in Venusian things over the next 18 months to help you move through this time, right? To move through this time of pause where you're waiting for your rewards, or you're waiting for that shift in career. I'm also seeing like lots more self-care over the next year, incorporating lots of sensuality, right? There may be like a shift in your public image because of how you're taking care of yourself. So how you're showing up in the world might be more slow and soft and feminine. Yeah. The self-care card for you, Leo, Sun, Moon, and Risings, rest, okay? It may not be something that you want to see, but as you balance, you know, these new shifts in your career, it may really call on you to, get a lot more rest. Really balance the time that you're taking dancing and moving through things, moving through life with rest. This whole idea of things that are coming to a close with the 4th house, possibly moving through some mother or father wound work, or work, you know, with developmental trauma. The 4th house can rule over our early life and our life as children. So you may be releasing some childhood patterns. You may be releasing patterns that you worked through with your parents a lot, that maybe you brought into your adult relationships, that you're like, oh my God, this just is not working anymore. And all of this releasing can be very exhausting. So really taking time to nap. If you can't nap, or you don't feel like you can nap, just laying down with no noise for 5 minutes. Okay? Laying with your eyes closed or even eyes open. You don't have to full on sleep, right? Or enter your REM sleep in order for you to get rest. So just laying down, sitting down, taking time to let your bones sink into a chair, right? Not moving, not doing anything, which can maybe sometimes be challenging for a Leo. Okay, but I'm really hearing that rest is going to be the way that you are embodying everything that came up over the past year and everything that's going to come up with releasing things around family and roots. Okay. You might be releasing naturally lots of inherited trauma or generational trauma. This may be over the next 18 months, Leo risings or sun or moon. It may behoove you, or you may be called to do some inherited trauma resolution, which is what I do one-on-one with my clients. And if you want to know more about that, you can comment or reach out to me. And oftentimes after these, not oftentimes, always, all the time after my sessions with clients, of course, sessions vary. Some are lighter than others. And some of the sessions we do astrology and tarot card readings, so they don't require this as much. But when we do visualization and ancestral repair, oftentimes, all the time, I recommend to clients to be able to rest, to sleep, or at least just lie down, contain themselves with a blanket, right? There's something about containment and being held that's very regulating to the nervous system after this work. So if it resonates with you that you are shedding patterns from childhood, relationship patterns between you and your parents, or in particular, fourth house rules mother, or any feminine energy, women in your life, it can be really restorative to rest, because yes, this work may be done on a mental plane, but it definitely lives in our body, right? And trauma lives in the body. So sleep is really something really that we can do that's very restorative to that work. Okay, that's what I hear for Leo's sun, moon, and particularly rising. Virgo, the nodes are moving into the 9th and 3rd house. So North Node in the 9th house of travel, wisdom, philosophy, long distance travel, higher education, also publishing, and then your release, things coming to closure in the 3rd house, which is communication, siblings, neighbors, local travel, your car. Let's see what your tarot card, your vehicle, the thing that gets you to and fro. Release. 13, Archangel Azrael, the end of a phase or situation, spiritual transformation, time to move on. So what I hear for Virgo risings in particular, but sun and moon as well, is that there may be really some heavy shifts in 3rd house release. So many of you might be moving abroad, or you might just be leaving the local community that you've been in. And it seems like your sights, Virgo rising, are set more on international things, okay? And if because of pandemic or whatever, mandates, restrictions, jab restrictions, you can't be international, I see more international relationships developing for you. So what I've seen, like a big release here with this card, is you're really releasing playing it small, okay? Not that 3rd house is playing it small, it has its benefits, but really wanting you to broaden your horizons, Virgo rising, okay? Also, like doing things on a bigger scale, making your audience bigger in some way. Maybe you've been publishing your own stuff and now you're gonna find a publisher, right? Also hearing like possibly learning a different language, okay? There may also be some shifts in release around siblings, neighbors, and cousins. So moving away from those people in your life, like there would be some new distance. Maybe you're going to be cutting ties, okay? And this doesn't have to be forever. Maybe you're just doing this for your own benefit, right? Maybe there's some trauma there. And this is a validation that, yeah, it is time to move on. Maybe you've been trying to work things out with a sibling, or neighbors, and it's just literally time to move on. Of course, we can always come back to these things when the time feels right, or maybe it doesn't, and that's okay too. But really allowing these things to naturally release themselves from your life over the next 18 months and embrace a more cultural identity, right? Embrace, also embracing possibly going back to school, learning more, getting a degree. And yeah, let's see what the Goddess card has in store for you. Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Vast, independent. Your independence is a foundation for your strength and success. Yeah, so maybe you've been really reliant on relationships between siblings and cousins, and I see you moving more into like, yeah, an independent role. Maybe you've been staying in one particular area of the world because you felt like you've had to for those people in your life, cousins and siblings. But now you are seeing that you want to do more for yourself, right? Maybe you have been playing it small for other people, and now it's really time to step into that role of independent Virgo bish, and own it. There's something here about this image too that I'm feeling like really about like standing your ground, being like owning your decision, whether that's like a decision to move, a decision to go back to school, a decision to travel. Like I'm feeling like there's some people who just, they feel hurt by either your decision or they don't jive with it, and she's just like, I don't care. Like the arms outspread is like taking up space in the world. I feel like you're really being called to, yeah, take up space in the world, and there's some idea of like knowing that this decision is right for you. Going back to the release, this is also about relationship transitions. So maybe there's like, yeah, a sibling relationship, a cousin relationship holding you back. Or maybe you felt like you, well, that's kind of the same thing. Yeah, you haven't been able to move forward because you're afraid you're going to lose this relationship, right? There's also something here like that you can lean into your family relationships, your siblings for support, your cousins for support in this transition. So they may be points of support for you to follow your independent desires and passions. So it could be either or. Let's see what your self-care card. Drink tea. I love this. So yeah, and it doesn't have to be tea. It could be coffee, it could be smoothies, it could be hot lemon water. This is really more about making a ritual, okay? Virgos, you rule the sixth house, which is all about ritual and routine. Excuse me. So really like allowing yourself to create new rituals and routines that will shift you into this, shift you out of this end of this phase or situation, maybe where you're living local and small, just sharing yourself with your local community, sharing your message with your local community. And it may require or may behoove you to start some new practices and rituals where you see yourself as this ninth house person. Okay, so maybe you are moving somewhere where they drink more tea. And so while you're still here, or while you're still wherever you are, incorporating like this tea from this new place that you're going or that you want to go. Maybe you've always wanted to live and work in Japan. So like incorporating a Japanese tea into your routine to kind of call that in, right? Routine and ritual can help us release who we don't want to be, what we don't want to do anymore, and move us into like a new way of being, right? Independent traveler. Yeah. Yeah. Ninth house also rules law and religion, so I did want to say that too. It doesn't have to just be about higher learning or long distance travel. Maybe you work at a law firm and you want to become like work on your own, right? Yeah, that's what I see for Virgo risings. Sun and moon as well, of course, but rising in particular. And now we are moving into Libra. The North Node is moving into your 8th house of sex, death, and taxes, inheritance, shared resources. And the South Node is moving into the 2nd house of money, work, income, values, material possessions. Your tarot card says 4 of water, 4 of cups, 4 of emotions. Missing an opportunity, discontentment, or boredom, open your eyes to the possibilities. So for Libra risings and sun and moon, I'm seeing that maybe there was a joint business venture. Maybe there was like a partner. There was someone to work with. That has been kind of showing up in your life, and you have been missing the opportunity because you've been too focused on your own ventures, your own projects. So this card is really a call to open your eyes up to the possibility of joint ventures, of, you know, owning a business with somebody, or collaborating, right? Collaborating with another person. You are Libra, so if you have heavy Libra energy in your chart and there's not too many aspects to any of your placements, then it's likely that you feel inspired and motivated and energized by partnerships, being in partnerships and having collaborations, and that your relationships are quite important to you. What I see you as releasing is having to do everything for yourself as far as like finances, right? Having to only have yourself to support, not to support, but to, you know, independently working, right? So you may be moving into shared business venture, creative venture, but you also might be getting married. You might be moving into a partnership where you're living together, and maybe this is the first time that you've lived with somebody, and so it's going to be a year about learning how to, you know, who buys the groceries, who pays the garbage bill, and who pays the power bill, things like that. And releasing this idea of you being, you know, the only one who does that around the house, right? Okay, so there may be some discomfort as you shift into this new way of being and how you are figuring those things out. Yeah, there's some energy with this card about like feeling trapped, and it kind of wants you to turn your eyes and your attention to the good that is coming from the situation. So maybe you are feeling trapped by a financial commitment, by a partnership, by a shared inheritance or income, and you're not seeing the benefits of what this sharing can bring for you. Yeah, there's this idea about boredom here. I don't really know what that's coming from. Let me see if I can tap into that more. Yeah, okay, like maybe you're feeling some discontentment about your solo ventures, about working on your own, and what I'm hearing is moving into partnership, moving into work with somebody else can, help quell some of that boredom, because it's exciting to move into joint ventures, right? See what your goddess card is. Libra, rising, sun and moon. Irene, peace. There is no need to worry as everything is working out beautifully.